Okay, we have our audio loaded into our session. We have cleaned our toms. Toms are beautiful. You only hear Tom when Tom is playing, because you don't want to hear Tom any other time. He's kind of a weird guy. Tom's awesome. What are you talking about? Okay, so everything looks really, really good, really clean. If we listen to just the audio by itself, make sure that the original track is muted. Good. Awesome. Okay, and just in case this is one of the first videos you're watching, let's hear what the final mix is going to sound like. Okay, awesome. God, I love it. Okay, so we want to organize the drum tracks. Got to do a little housekeeping. If you don't have your tracks labeled, go ahead, double click on the track name and name it to what you need it to be. First thing of organization, the layout of them. I like having them the way they are right now. I start with the kick on the bottom. It's the bass, it's the foundation. Then I go to the top snare because it's second important, the bottom snare, then to the hat, then overhead left, overhead right, and then the toms. And then rooms. Rooms are usually between overhead and toms for me, just in case you have rooms in your mix. But like I said in a previous video, this studio was really, really tiny, so room mic didn't work out. Okay, so the first thing we want to do when we are organizing, after we have it laid out like this and everything's named, is we need to bus. Now, a bus is exactly what it sounds like. It gets you from point A to B. It's a routing thing. It's how you route things. Everything right now is going out the stereo monitor, which is outputs 1 and 2. See, A, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Those are the outs I have on this interface that I'm using. And stereo monitor is 1 and 2. On your machine, on your system, it may say A, 1 and 2. But it's the bus out. It's the left and right stereo out. And everything's going directly there right now. So I can't affect stuff together at all. I want to be able to affect stuff together. Like if I want to put compression on the overheads, I don't want to have to put compression on that overhead, or put it on the master bus, which we should have actually, by creating a stereo master fader and dragging it down to the bottom. I usually like to rename it to master because there is no master 2. Anyway, so we've got our master. We could put, some compression on here if we wanted to and make it sound awesome already. Oh, you can hear my voice changed already. Check this out. So Anyway, I'm getting a little ahead of myself, so let's not get too crazy. But the point I'm trying to make is that if you have other tracks like guitar and bass and all that stuff going on underneath this master fader, it's all coming through here. So this compressor that really just made the drum sound awesome, that would be affecting guitars and stuff too. So I just want to put stuff on the drums. I don't want it to be on everything by going through the master. So how do we do that? Well, got to create some bussing. So let's create some bussing. First things first, let's do toms. Got to put them together. So select both of them, hit one, and then shift click the other, and then shift option click will affect every track that you have selected. So by shift option clicking the output, I change it to bus 1 and 2, and you'll notice both of them change to 1 and 2. Now I got to send them somewhere, so we got to create a track to send it to. So let's create a stereo aux input, slamming. Let's put the input to that, bus 1 and 2, boom. Now, before we play it, command click the solo button and it grays it out, meaning anytime you solo anything that's going to be coming through here, it's soloed. So solo tom 1, aux 1 is soloed. Solo tom 2, aux 1 is soloed because it's grayed out. If I didn't have that grayed out and I solo tom 1, don't hear nothing because aux 1 isn't soloed. Command click and it's soloed too. Alright, let's rename that aux 1 by double clicking it and naming it toms. Okay, let's do this with the other tracks too. Let's do it with the overheads. We're going to shift option click those and send them to buses 3 and 4. Let's create a stereo aux input for them. And 3 and 4 is going to be the input. And let's rename that overheads. And, you know, normally I would do one for hat, but, you know, we don't need to do one for the hat. It's just the hat. But let's do one for snare top and bottom. Let's send that to bus 5 and 6. And let's create an aux for those. Now, we're going to do it for the kick too, even though there's one kick mic. So why not we, instead of having to open this dialog again, let's just hit 2. Create 2 auxes. And you know what? We're going to need another one. So let's actually make 3 of those bad boys. Okay, so let's name this one the snare. And you can see snare bottom and top are going out 5 and 6. Let's make the input 5 and 6. Click off of it because these 3 are clicks. So if I moved the snare, it would move these 2. So I click off of it to snare top, and then I click back on that snare so it's selected. And I don't need to do anything with it because I was going to move it under there, but it's already under there. So what we're going to do is take these 2 auxes and move them underneath the kick. And this one's going to be the kick aux. Let's just name that K. And let's send the kick to buses 7 and 8. And the input is going to be bus 7 and 8. Now quickly, why would I do 7 and 8? It's a stereo bus. Why? If this is a mono track, because if I pan the kick left, it's in bus 7, and if I pan it right, it's in bus 8. So that's why you want it to go out to a stereo bus, so you can pan it if you want, even though we're not going to be panning kick, but you know what I mean. Just in case you want to get all beatly. All right, so we got the kick. So why this last aux? Let me just click off there so I can click it. Why this last aux? Well, we have the individual drum sections going to their own auxes now, but those auxes from them, meaning the toms aux, the overheads aux, and the snare aux, those are all still going out stereo monitor, so they're still going out here. So if I want to affect the drum kit together, I can't unless I do it on the master, which, like I said, if you have guitar and bass and stuff down here, everything's going to be affected through there. So what you do now, so you can still do drums, is you select all of the tracks that are green, all the auxes, by command clicking, command click, and then command click the kick. And now to affect all of them at the same time, shift option click, and the output, we're going to go to 9 and 10. Now we're going to say aux 3, we want you to be input 9 and 10. And then you guessed it, we're going to name this guy drums. So now we have a drum mix right here. Let's put this in perspective by making all these tracks smaller. So I just shift clicked all of them to select all of them. Now I'm going to shift option click to affect all of them, and I hover right in between any of them. Like any of them I can hover right in between. And then I click and hold and then drag up to resize them. I'm going to make them real small, and then I'm just going to make this nice drum mix big. And now we got a drum mix. Now, like I said earlier, I want to just hear snare top. I'm not hearing it. Why not? Well, I need to command click the snare aux. Still not hearing it. What's the deal? Well, remember, it's going out 9 and 10. So I need to command click the drum mix. And okay, so now we're hearing the whole kit, and it's all bust through. It's individual stuff, toms, overheads, snare, and kick, and then the hat's going up. Oh, good catch. You need to send that hat by itself to 9 and 10, so it's going through the drums too. And now we should say nothing is stereo monitor on any of the drums. Okay, so we got toms going to toms, overheads going to overheads, hat going to the drums, snares going to snare, and kick going to kick, and then each of those, kick, snare, overheads, toms, are all going to the drums. And now we have a drum mix. So now, even if I had bass and guitar and stuff going through the master as well as the drums, I can still affect the drums by themselves. And see, I still sound normal, even though my audio is running through the session too. It's not being affected because we're just affecting the drum mix. All right, sweet. So That's a big part of the organization right there. We are looking really good. Everything's organized. We have everything labeled. It's all bussing correctly in its outputs. The inputs you don't need to worry about if they're grayed out because we're not recording, so we're not needing to input to anything. And everything's got its spot. So next we're gonna start actually finally getting into the real deal. Real quickly though, let's take one last listen to what we're working toward. All right, awesome. All right, let's start getting into this real deal now that all the busy work's done. Let's start mixing this stuff. Hope to see you there.